Hello, welcome back. Last time I taught us how to purchase a domain from Hostinger. So this time around we're going to learn how to install WordPress. We are first going to learn how to uninstall, because in the first process of purchasing this domain, we installed WordPress in the process of setup and activation. So we want to practically delete the WordPress installed, then we have to install it back again. So bonus tip to this is that I'll be taking you on a tour inside of Hostinger, so you understand your way through from here to there. So the best practice, like we did in the last time we purchased this, we created a Gmail account so it will be easier for us to log in. So we are going to try how easy it is to log in using your Hostinger and your email account, your Gmail account actually. So to do this, just head over to the login space here, click on login, then wait for it to populate. Takes a little while, and we are here. Fine. You click on the Gmail icon over here. Fine. So now it opens up all Gmail account that is associated with this PC. Okay, now it's left for you to select the particular one we created. So last time we used the MetaWave, and this was the account we purchased this domain name and hosting plan for. So we click on it, and that's just all you need to do. So this is the loading page in Hostinger, and we are about to launch into the our account panel. We call this H panel, not C panel. Other hosting companies use C panel, which makes it a little bit hefty or difficult, to walk around or do some other stuff like enabling your SSL, CDN, Cloudflare, and stuff like that. It's being difficult. Even installing WordPress becomes almost impossible to do, or fixing some kind of minor issue. But in Hostinger, this makes it very easy. The H panel simply means this looks as though you are very used to things and everything is right in front of you. So the first thing we are going to do is to set up our SSL. But before then, let's check if this already have the WordPress installed in it. So to check on that, click on Edit Website. So we have a WordPress installed, and this is the installation settings for WordPress, which is previously installed there. I'll come back to this, but let's delete this WordPress. Let's see how we don't want this WordPress. We want to delete the install. We want to start a fresh install. Probably you had an error in WordPress, or maybe you just want to clear everything and start afresh. This is what you need to do. So simply what you do, scroll down until you get to this point. Click on advanced. It pulls out not advanced, orders. I'm very sorry about that. Click on orders. It pulls down this stuff. Next, you click on reset account. Okay, so now you reset your account. It shows up this information. For this, it says stop running process. This progress stop, not this one particularly. You're gonna do this actually terminate all running process. Like for instance, it makes your website come to a halt. It doesn't perform anymore. Like you want to pause your website for a while, you don't want to use it, you don't want it to be usable, but still you don't want to clear or delete anything inside of it. So this is what you do. But we want to clear everything here, and it's very simple to do from here. All you do is to reset the account. As you can read from here, it says a fresh account with default settings will be recreated. This is not a fresh WordPress account. This is a fresh install account for your domain name. Okay, it is created in your H panel for your hosting account. I will explain that probably in the later video when we dive more deep into the H panel, because H panel is not actually what you're seeing here. Here, what you're seeing is your dashboard, not your H panel. So now what we need to do is select the particular account we want to reset, and we go on to click on reset. So just wait for a while. That will populate this, and next click on reset. And that is it. Just wait for a little while. It's propagating. This takes a little time, maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes. In most cases, you might need to refresh your browser, and that is it. So fine and good. Let's assume that we are reset, and this is how simple it is. Very, very simple. In other plans, you have to go into, I wish I could go through all these processes in other hosting plan, but we don't have much time. We have a lot of things to talk about today. So after we're done with that, we want to install a fresh WordPress. But before we do that, there's one important thing we need to do. We need to activate our SSL. SSL is a security certificate for your domain name. Without that, your domain will be showing unsecured. You see that thing you see at the right side of a URL when you try to access a web link, and it shows a key padlock that is not locked, or a site not secured sign, very fainted from the main name. So that particular thing means the site doesn't have a security plan, which means there's no SSL certificate installed there. So it is not secure for you to proceed with that site. There might be malwares, there might be viruses. It might be very easy for them to exploit your credit card. In case you want to purchase something from that kind of site, it's very easy for them to exploit your credit card because there's no trace, there's no security policies in that particular site. So now, if your website is reset, we reset your website, you don't have the SSL automatically reset with it. So we need to practically go back and activate the SSL. So how do we do that? Click to go on home from here. Okay. Now you see the SSL, very simple. This is why I love HostingGuard. They make everything very simple for you. So we have a pending setup over here. Okay, this is your hosting plan. We'll come to this. I'll analyze everything you need to know here. So for the SSL, click on setup right here. So fine, let me zoom closely. Let's see. So now we are activating for MetaWave. If there are more than one domain name in this website, you can see a drop down here to click and select the particular one you want to install the SSL on. So we want to install this on MetaWave, which is a very important thing I said we should do first before doing any other thing. So we click on install SSL, which is very simple and straight to the point. So fine, we are done installing our SSL certificate. Now, in most cases, this is still installing. In most cases, you have to wait for a couple of minutes. Let me say 2 minutes, 1 minute, but HostingGuard, they are very fast in populating. It is automatically populating, as you can see. And this is why I love HostingGuard. Okay, they have an Ajax filter. An Ajax filter means in web design, it means things automatically happen without you having to go to the refresh button, having to go over here to refresh every time you want. But basically, we are supposed to do that before we see this active. So now we have our SSL activated. We can uninstall it here. We can force a HTTPS. We'll come to that later when we finish installing our WordPress. So now what we do, you can go back home so that we can be tracing this one step at a time. Okay, so now let me do a little bit of analysis before we start installing our WordPress. So this is their builder. From this you can build the website. We don't need this. They have themes which you can use, which we don't support. We don't build with themes, we build from scratch. So we cancel this, we don't need it, cancel it. So now this is the amount of websites you have. They will be populated here, so you can select the particular one you want to work on or you want to visit the WordPress account or dashboard from. So that is it for this, and this is your shared hosting. This is your hosting plan. The difference between the hosting plan and the domain name is simple. The hosting plan is just like the memory of your device, and the domain name is the name of that device. Okay, now if you buy a domain name and you don't have a hosting plan, there will be no place for the files, the images, the data, everything the videos, the stuff you are storing or designing on the front end of your website. There's no place for it to be stored. You can't even see an opportunity to do that. So with a domain name, you also need a hosting plan. But with a hosting plan without a domain name, you can't build because there is no IP address to point that particular design to. So what this practically means is this. Now listen carefully. The domain name is the IP address that points the design you are designing to a URL. Okay, it points the design you are designing, which the design is coming from the hosting account. All designs you're making are stored in the hosting account. They are saved. Sometimes they call it backup. Okay, some backup daily, some backup weekly, some backup monthly, depending on the plan you go for. We'll come to plan later after now. Okay, so now the hosting plan is the particular place where everything is stored. If you clear everything in the hosting plan, everything in your website clears. This is just a name that points people to what you are designing, which is stored inside of this place. Okay, now you can manage your name, you can update it from here. You can see the date where everything expires or when you need to renew. And this is the email plan, the Titan email plan. I talked about this last time, but if not, I will check on that and we have a fresh tutorial on how to create this. This is very handy. They have a mobile app, so you receive email directly from your mobile app. So now we get back to the hosting plan. So this is the premium shared hosting. We have a shared hosting, we have a business plan, we have a cloud hosting, we have a VPS hosting, and so on and so forth. Okay, there are many kinds of hosting plan you can get out there, but for now, premium shared hosting is enough for a basic site. Okay, but when you're designing an e-commerce site, I think you should go for a business plan or a cloud storage. That's better for you. I will explain all those in the later time too. We have a lot to talk, a lot to discuss in this particular series of tutorial in hosting, domain name, and so on and so forth. So now let's get in and install our WordPress. Before we get into that, sorry, I forgot. Here are some other stuffs. Here is the website where you can find all your websites. Here is the hosting plans. Here is your emails. Here is your domain name. Everything we are still seeing here. Here are the servers, SSL certificate. We talked about that. And billing. Billing is very important. You do whenever you finish purchasing a domain, you can come to billing. Probably in most cases you can come to billing and disable it if you don't want them to automatically charge you. Okay, you can come to billing and remove it from here, but if you want it to automatically charge you every year, you can leave that open. So we get back to home and let's get in and install WordPress, which is the main purpose of this tutorial. So to install WordPress, you don't click on this, you click on the premium shared hosting, click on manage. Fine. So now we are inside of the Hedge panel. This is the Hedge panel, and this is where we can install WordPress through. Okay, we can do WordPress install from this auto installer, not WordPress. You can still do it from here, but auto installer will help you install WordPress and other installation processes. This one is only for WordPress, but I need to show you what this feels like if you want to install not just WordPress, other installations. So you see it, we have other installations available here, but this is not the only way to install WordPress from here. So you can click on select to install WordPress. So let's check out from the second procedure by clicking your website link and clicking your website name. So this is the second way to install your WordPress, or it pulls us out down in here too. So now what you need to do is click on either WordPress install or the auto installer. Okay, either of these will help you, will work in your installation. So for now, let's try and use the WordPress install, so we get directly to installing WordPress, because we don't want this site to be based on e-commerce. We just want to install a fresh install of WordPress. If you want to install e-commerce in later time, you can still do that from inside of WordPress. So this detects WordPress is if you have a WordPress installed and it is not detected here, but this I don't think is necessary. So now install WordPress, click on install. Here are the basic requirements you need to fill in. The first is your name, MetaWave. Okay, you can change all this later time. Okay, now the admin username and admin password, which is very important. Then click on advanced. You make sure all these stuffs are checked to make sure you are in the right domain installation. Okay, we are installing on HTTP. You can switch this to HTTPS if you are sure you have installed the SSL certificate. But if you have not installed SSL certificate, you can leave it at HTTP. Or if you are installed SSL, leave it at HTTPS. Okay, now you can put a password for your database. A database, I will explain this. Let's put the password first. Fine. Now, the difference between the admin username password, and the database password is this. The database password is the password which is used in saving everything you do in this website, where every backup is going to. Probably when you want to extract this backup, they'll ask for this password or username, then you have to provide that. But the admin, I'm talking about the database, okay? But the admin is for WordPress. This is your username for WordPress, and this is your password for WordPress, which we are still going to change. Fine. So now we are done with that, and we are done with changing this. Must contain a letter of one number. That's okay. Let's do that now. Fine. I think we are good to go. So next, all these are information you need to fill, but be careful to make sure you fill exactly what you needed to. So these are basic things you need to do. The name of the website, which will display at the top side of the website. The email, the admin username, you can change that, and the admin password. Make this HTTPS if you have enabled the SSL certificate, and fill the information password also for your database. So now we click on next to proceed. Now this part, you are going to choose your version of WordPress you want to install. For this, we are installing the latest version, so we choose latest version, leave it at English. And now this place that says turn off automatic application update means if you enable this, it means your plugins will not automatically update themselves. If you click on update only minor versions, which means only plugins will be updated, but heavy versions like your WordPress plugin, your WooCommerce plugins, and other heavy plugins cannot update themselves. Okay, you need to do that manually. Now always update everything we update, and that's what it means. I would recommend you go on with update only minor versions, which is most recommended, or you can leave everything off, so whenever you go into your dashboard you update stuff yourself. It depends on how you want to work. Okay, now we hit on install, which is the final step for this. So now we wait for it to populate. Very important. So once it's populated, it will take us to our dashboard for WordPress. Fine, and this is it. This is it. I would need to explain some things here. Okay, we need to explain some stuffs here, but I will come back to this in the later time. Okay, but let me just give you a briefing about them. Okay, so now the dashboard is where we are now. WordPress is you going into a particular checking your plugin. If you click on this, it will show all your plugin of WordPress inside of this place. Like as you can see, these are plugins enabled. You can disable them or enable them from there. You can still go through these things from this angle, from this panel. You can go through all these stuffs inside of that. This is orders, where you can do your upgrade, renewal of your plans and stuff like that. And this is your account settings, details, and blah blah blah. Your email, you can go to your email control panel. Your domain name, you can go to your subdomain, packed domain. A packed domain means you are pointing another domain name to this domain, which means if you have two domains, you want people to visit and see the same thing, you pack your domain. Packing domain means all domain, both domain or three domain will be pointing to one hosting design, which means one design will be handling all domain, which means probably you might have catagraphics.com or catagraphic.net. If I pack the two of them will now be dedicated to one hosting. If somebody search for catagraphic.net, he will see it just as someone who search for .com. That's what it means by packed domain. Now add website, you can add another website from here. Now the website is where you see your SEO toolkit, and these things we can deal with them inside of WordPress. These are not what you should do here. I don't advise you to deal with them here because there are better plugins you can use in dealing with most of these digital marketing stuffs. So the file is your file manager. I'm sorry I clicked something I'm not supposed to. Okay, fine. So the file is your file manager. You click on it, it opens. You see your file manager here. You can see your backup. Okay, let's visit the file manager and see how it looks like. Fine. So this is what the file manager look like. Here you can do your backup. You can see whether your backup is running daily, weekly, or monthly, and you can also back them up manually from here. Okay, we wait for a while. So this is your file manager. So this is where everything relies. You can open your domain name. You see everything, your domain name. This is the meta public HTML. Here you can see the WordPress admin and everything about WordPress. This is not what we are going to get into. Don't try to come here and do with anything. If you don't know what you are doing here, don't joke, don't tamper with any of this. There are times we might need to come back here. I'll teach you when you have some kind of problems on how to resolve. So that is it. Here is our backup. You can click on the backup so we can see now. Here is where you can select a particular backup. This is backup, most backup, all backup that we have had during the period of this website creation. And here you can do your backup, database backup, and generate new backup. Now file backup and database backup is not the same thing. We'll come to that when we do backup activation and backup restoration. FTP and database, MySQL and stuff like that. Advanced, the DNS zone. The DNS zone is domain name server. Domain name server zone is where you can change your pointing domain protocol. Okay, for instance, you purchased a domain name from another company and you buy the hosting plan, which is very possible from this company. Now through your DNS Zone editor, you can copy the DNS name .1, .2 from that website you purchased the domain and then point it to this hosting, which means the two hosting accounts or the two companies will be working in hand to provide your services. You'll be paying for your hosting here and you'll be paying for your domain name there, which I don't think is advisable. Buy everything from one place so you don't stress yourself. So we go back to our dashboard. So here in our dashboard, we can first HTTPS, we enable it, very important. Maintenance mode, leave it, don't enable it. Your light speed, you enable it, okay? Light speed, I'll talk about that when we start designing your website. You enable light speed. This is a caching plugin. You enable it only when you are done designing a website. When you are designing a website, the process of designing a website, if you enable this, when you design something and check what you design, you might not see it. It might take like 5 minutes for that to populate. So to avoid that, disable this when you are designing whatever you are doing. Disable it. You disable it like so. There's no problem. There's no problem with that. But even if you want to enable it, this is what you can do. Probably after you apply something and you didn't see it, you can come back here. Sorry about that. You can come back here and flush the cache. Very important. Flush the cache and it will clear all processes and refresh, which if you refresh the front end, you'll be able to see what you updated. So remember, we have installed WordPress. Okay, so this WordPress update, SSL security is enabled, Cloudflare is disabled. Don't enable Cloudflare. I'll talk about Cloudflare in later time and tell you in cases where you need to enable or disable it also. Okay, install under WordPress. In case we have another domain name, we can install under WordPress from here. So that is it, guys, for this information about all install processes or protocols we are having. So that's it for this. So let's get into WordPress now and see whether what we installed is actually functional. So click to get into WordPress. Just click on edit website to take you to a new window where you are going to be launched into your WordPress database or dashboard. Just need to wait for a couple of moments, not up to a minute, just 30 seconds or so. So now we are into WordPress. Congratulations, and this is it. So now we can start installing our plugins if we need to. All these things here are not very necessary for you to consume. When you have time, you can come and read them, but that's not the point. So to install a new or fresh product, let me just first analyze the WordPress dashboard for us to understand. Okay, see this top panel. Here is where you can visit your website from, and here is where you can come back to your dashboard. Here are comments from blogs in your website and stuff like that. Inside, WP Form is a plugin. You can delete this and this will not appear. SEO is a plugin. You can delete it and it will not appear again. They don't matter. Then this is the plugin for cache cleaning, light speed. This is it. You can still purge the cache from here. Click on purge. It will purge the cache so that everything you do will populate automatically from the front end. You get that point? Now, here are updates you can get from your WordPress. Click on it to see all plugins that are not updated. You can get them from here. Here are posts. You can create new posts here if it is a blog post site. You can create new posts here. Here are medias. All your medias are stored here. Every image you use in designing are stored inside of media. You click on it. Let's see how that looks. There's no image in it now, I think. So there's no image in it, so you won't see anything. So now let's move on. You can add new media from here. Now, these are pages. Pages are like your home page, about us page, contact us page. Here is where you start building your website. So add a new page, click on the add new at the top side. Very simple. When we start building, I will come back to this. I'm just giving you a rundown or overview of what we need to do. So click on add new. You will see a new page. You can add the name of the page and then publish page from over here. Okay, publish page. And if you publish page, automatically the page will appear inside of our pages. So now if we go back to our WordPress and go back to our pages, we can now see the page we created over here. You see the page over here? You can edit it or you can delete it or move it to the trash very easily. So that is it for pages. You can create pages, about us homepage and so on and so forth. You can add new from here directly. Comments and all these stuff. Appearance is where you can set if you go to appearance, you can set some stuff like your favicon. Favicon are like all these images that appear at the edge of this are called favicon. Okay, all these images are called favicon. All these images, tiny images are called favicon. They show, okay, this is the website we are going to. It is easy for you to detect your website. So it's very important you set up your favicon, very important. Here are plugins. You can set up all plugins from here. You can install new plugins from here. So to install new plugin, click on the add new. Okay, now you can click on upload plugin, and then you can choose the particular plugin you want to upload. That is number one step to add new plugin. Number two step to add new plugin is click on the plugins, then search for the plugin you want to install from here. For instance, I want to install Forminator. Search for it, and it populates Forminator plugins for you. Okay, doesn't show up. So in most cases, you search for stuffs, it doesn't show you need to download from the front end. In most cases, I just don't know the bug with WordPress. Sometimes you need to type exactly the name of that plugin before you get it. Okay, let's say we are okay. Sorry, we needed to add. I'm sorry about that. I am made mistake. Click on add new. Okay, now add new. We can now search for the particular one we want. Okay, so we click on Forminator now. Inside add new, then we can now click on install. That is just it. Click on install and it will start installing the file. So this is just how to install a file. I'm showing you how to install a file. We have installed and we can activate it from here, but I don't want us to activate it from here. We are going to go into the plugin and activate it from there. So click on the plugin once again, and now we can see the Forminator is right here. So to activate Forminator, click on activate. Very simple, and that is it. Forminator is activated. So now Forminator is activated, we can now go to the settings and do some other things. Forminator is a plugin which is in building forms. Okay, all these forms you type in, the person will type in their email, their name, their address. It is a plugin outside of your builder. You prepare the forms, and you can use the shortcode. Yes, we'll come to that. I will teach you guys that. Use the shortcode and import it in your builder front end. So that is it for that. And the tools here, we'll come to this later. I think we might not have enough time to deal with this because there are some important things that might take us a lot of time to elaborate here, like the settings here, the permalink, the reading, and so on. There are a lot of things we have to talk about here. So that's basically how to install WordPress in your hosting account. The same process applies to any hosting account. Just locate the WordPress installation protocol, the installation page, then click to install, fill in the forms, you'll be installed, and you come in, you see the same thing as you see here. The same thing applies to every website, and that is it. So we have successfully today uninstalled and installed WordPress back again, and we also successfully learn how to install a new plugin, search for a new plugin, and activate the plugin. So in the next tutorial, I'll be taking you guys on a walkthrough on all of this. We'll be doing a granular tutorial on that. Probably when we'll be done installing some other plugins we use in working or designing, then we can come to this. So remember or bear in mind that we have a course on web design coming up very soon. In a couple of days from now, it will be launched and it will be ready. So get in and get your slot. Let me know if you are interested in it. So once again, make sure you click on the subscribe button. Very important. Like, comment, and share this